Hello, this is my review of the Elite Eight and preview for the Final Four. Starting off with the first game I'm going to talk about is my team, Auburn versus Michigan State. I think it was a very entertaining game. Of course, Auburn was ahead basically the entire game. I think Michigan only took the lead at the very beginning, and it was not even that close from there. There's really not much you could really pick apart about this game. Saw it right there. Auburn's just the better team. We're just the better team. Michigan State, they're good and all, but Auburn we just had better center play. Our guards. Now I will say Michigan State's guards, that Jace guy and there's this other guy. Those guys they're pretty freaking good. They're going to be NBA material. Very fast, very explosive, and just very athletic. But other than them, Michigan State literally couldn't do anything. They're basically Michigan with better guards but worse centers. And due to that, Johni Broome, I could make my own separate video about Johni Broome, but basically he basically did kind of carry us, even though we had a pretty even team spread of points. It's been a while since I watched that game, so I can't remember exactly what happened. But all I know is Johni Broome, just unreal performance. This guy, after that game, it made me think so much higher of him. The ability just for him to come back out after that injury. I'm sure whoever's watching this has definitely saw what happened. If you didn't, he was going for, it was either block or rebound. He jumps up and he lands in the most weird way. He hyperextends his leg and then twist his right elbow back, and it was terrible. I cannot believe he came, and it was crazy because he was literally holding his arm and limping around the entire time. But even then, when he got that rebound and then made that, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen about it. That was actually insane. It's just insane. Johni Broome, I really hope he'll be ready for the Florida game, because this is definitely going to be the best team we've played in the tournament, and they're the best team in the country, in my opinion. But right now, I don't think they're the best team in the country. Right now, I think Duke is looking a lot better than them. But I know that when Florida plays to their potential, they are the best team in the country. So it's going to be a really good fight, but I'll get into the previews later. Anything else to say about the game? Not really. Chad Baker-Mazara and Miles Kelly, which those two guys really are going to need to step up. Now, Miles Kelly did get some points at the beginning of the game, but other than that, he was kind of cold. Chad Baker-Mazara, he didn't do too well. He made some free throws, but that was about it. And I think, if I remember, Dylan Cardwell, this tournament, he's just been playing lights out defense. He's so strong and athletic for a center. You wouldn't think he could move how he does, but he can. He's, again, just so athletic and so strong. He's one of the best defenders in the country, in my opinion. And I expect him to do really well against Florida with all their really big guys. But I think if we are going to beat Florida, we're going to need Miles Kelly and Chad Baker-Mazara to step up. But I'll get to that later. Moving on to Florida and Texas. I accidentally said Texas A&M right here. Which was, oh my gosh, in my preview for the Elite Eight, I had Florida winning, but I thought they were just going to beat the crap out of Texas Tech. But Texas Tech, I didn't watch a lot of that game. I think I only watched the last couple minutes. Walter Clayton Jr., man. You could argue he's up there with, Cooper Flagg and Johni Broome. That dude, he's like Mark Sears if he was 5 times better in every aspect. He's Mark Sears if he was an elite level player. There's just nothing to say about it. He's just amazing. That dude, could single-handedly win you a game by himself. All the top players could, but he's one of those very few specific players that can actually just take over a game. You got your Johni Broomes and your Cooper Flaggs, but you can definitely throw in a Walter Clayton Jr. I wouldn't say you could maybe throw in some Zakai Zieglers or something like that, but I don't know. dude's insane. Florida, very lucky to walk out of there with a win. And they're looking very shaky right now. I just can't believe they actually came back and how close that game was. But moving on to Duke and Alabama. I mean, this one, this doesn't shock me at all. Alabama's just, they're a good team, but they're not a great team. I mean, they got the talent and they got the depth, but I mean, it's not even like their defense is okay. Like, no, they're bad. They have a bad defense, and you cannot, like, it's basically impossible to win the tournament with a bad defense. Again, it's not mid. It's not even slightly below average. They're bad. They are a bad defense. I mean, all their games, I mean, of course, they held St. Mary's to, like, under 70, but that's just because St. Mary's plays, like, slow as crap. And they're not just on the level of SEC teams. But I will say, I mean, Alabama, they've looked good at times, but they just don't stack up to Duke. Duke has the better, much, much better defense. They have the better overall player in Cooper Flagg. They have a better roster. And their offense, I mean, I don't think their offense is quite as good, but it's up there too. They have an offense that can score a lot of points if you don't play really good defense. So, and Alabama can't play good defense. So, they couldn't do anything. I mean, they were down like the entire game. Now I will say I didn't watch that game, but I did see that one highlight of like Grant Nelson like getting that block when Cooper Flagg was trying to dunk it, and then like they threw it to Mark Sears and he hit 3. That was pretty cool, but other than that, Alabama just, again, there's not really much to say about this either. They're just not as good a team as Duke. Duke's just the better team overall, and so Duke won. But moving on to Houston and Tennessee. Now, I didn't really watch this game either, but I like followed it, which, oh my gosh, you're telling me a team that made it to the Elite Eight only scored 15 in the first half. 15? I mean, I know Houston, they're a good team, or they're a good/great team. The amazing teams right now, I think, are the Floridas and the Dukes, and maybe even the Auburns when Auburn's playing at their best. But Houston, I think they're a great team, but their offense hasn't like seemed to play the caliber that they just like all the rest of the teams on the Final Four do. So I thought this game was going to be a lot closer, but I mean, Houston just really didn't. I mean, they just beat the crap out of Tennessee. There's nothing to it. I mean, they just beat the living crap out of Tennessee, which kind of shocked me because like at that time, Houston was coming off a very, very close win against Purdue, and Tennessee was like really hot in the tournament. They're like, I forgot who they played before. They played Kentucky, I think, and they beat the crap out of them. So I thought, Tennessee, they have a lot of momentum going into this game. Houston, they're kind of shaky, but it doesn't matter because Houston just shuts them down. I mean, what was it, like 69-50 or something like that? I mean, that's just like, I'm just saying, if I would not want to be going up against Houston's defense. I mean, that defense is, in my opinion, the best in the country, right above, like Tennessee, Duke, Auburn, Florida, all those guys. Houston, I mean, I can't believe how bad they beat Tennessee. But I guess we'll transition now to my predictions for the Final Four. One, I'll start off with Auburn versus Florida. Now, I do have Auburn losing. I have my Auburn Tigers. I have them losing to Florida. But I will say, right now, if Auburn plays like I know they can, and if Florida doesn't play to their potential, which they have not been this like whole tournament, I think there's I think Auburn has a very, very, very good chance of winning this game. Because, again, Florida's just not, they just haven't played like I know they can. And let's just say if, for example, Miles Kelly, if he gets real hot on threes, if Tahad Pettiford keeps making really good contested layups and different, like if our guard play is really good, then I think we have a legit shot at beating these guys because Florida's been very cold this tournament. We should have been playing Texas Tech, but I don't know. Okay, the first step is to shut down Walter Clayton Jr., whoever's guarding him. If he gets shut down, then I think we definitely, we have a very good chance. Like, we have a probably favoring us to win this game because he is there probably. I mean, of course, Florida's for roster's insane. I mean, they have a lot more guys than just him, but he has been the one that's winning them games this year, definitely, or this tournament. Walter Clayton Jr. is insane, but if we can shut him down, then I think we definitely. I'm not going to say we will, but we have a very, very, very good chance at winning. But my worry is that Florida plays like they did against us for the regular season, where, and this is what I was saying about how versatile Florida is. All their guys are big and they can all shoot threes, so it's a very scary matchup. So I don't know. I'm also worried about our best player, Janai Broome. I mean, I think I got a notification saying that he said he was 100% and he's ready for Florida, but I really don't know how much of that's true. I'm worried about him a lot. I will not be surprised if he gets taken out early in the game because Florida's guys are all really big and they can match up with them pretty well. But again, yeah, I think right now the way both teams are looking, I might be slightly favoring Auburn just because we've been a bit more hot in the tournament, even though we've looked cold at times. But Florida's been very cold. But I think at the end of the day, I think Florida is. I think they are probably going to win, but it's like a 55-40% ratio. It's very close. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. But I think Florida will probably take it in the end. By they're probably going to shoot better than us because right now we haven't really been able to hit threes outside of Denver Jones and Todd Pettiford, and even they don't hit them that much. I mean, I don't know if that was the Michigan State game or the Michigan game where Denver Jones made 3 threes in a row or something, but I don't know. Florida's guys, they're probably not going to let that happen. We need Miles Kelly and Chad to really step up. I think we will win if they will step up. This game, if they can step up, they've been cold most of the tournament, and I think if this is the game where they finally get on, if they finally, get into it and they're finally ready to start going, playing lights out and stuff, I think we will win. But I'm just worried about them because they've been playing very cold. Chad Baker-Mazara, this is maybe the worst he's looked all year. The entire season and postseason, he's been very, very cold. And, I mean, Miles Kelly, he didn't have a bad game last game against Michigan State, but I don't know. I can't fully trust him right now. But I think, again, if he does lock in, I think we will win. Because I know the level that he can play at. He's an NBA player, and I know he can play to that level, but I just am worried about it. So even though Florida's been cold, Auburn's been hot, I'm still leaning towards Florida just a little bit. I think it'll be in the high 70s, low 80s. I think it's going to be a very close game. And it might be a bit more offensive sided too. I don't know. But moving on to Duke and Houston, this one I don't really have to think about much. I'd easily have Duke winning this game. Houston might not score over 60. I mean, their offense is... they have that one guy. I haven't watched him, but I've heard that one guy can shoot. And I don't know. I don't know if they have any other guys, but all I know is Houston, their offense, not very good. Their defense is amazing, but Duke has the players to kind of work around that. I don't know how well Houston's players are going to be able to stop Cooper Flagg and all their other guards. That Proctor guy, and then they have this other guy that's all their guys are really big, really athletic. So I think Duke has the physicality and skill to work around Houston's defense. And I don't think Houston's going to score very much on them. So I think Duke will easily take that game. And for the championship, I still have Florida beating Duke. But if they played right now, I would pick Duke because Florida, again, they've been very cold. But I could absolutely see, again, it being Auburn versus Duke, like a rematch, because we've played all these teams before. We've played all three of these teams. And if it came down to us versus Duke, I don't know. There's that, we played them at their place. Like, all of our players got in foul trouble, so it was kind of, But I think Duke is the much better team than us right now. But I think if we can play hot, we can beat any of these teams easily. But right now, I think it's pretty clearly that Duke is going to beat Houston. I would be very shocked if Duke lost to Houston. Like, that would shock me more than, like, trying to think. That would probably shock me more than, like, Florida losing to, like, Texas Tech, yeah, which almost happened, but I don't know. It's really, I just don't see a way Houston can win that. But Auburn, Florida, that's a pretty big toss-up to me. It can easily go either way. But, again, like I've been saying, if Florida plays their potential, even if Auburn plays their potential, I think Florida's still better. So I think it'll be them. But that concludes my video, and I will make another one after the Final Four. And I'm out.